Team Hard Life Captain Alberto Zertuche here. Alright, so now that you see us disassembling all the motors for our next cell line setups, I also need to build the hook line setups for it. However, we are actually looking at something new on the buckets as well, because I was trying to get lids for the other buckets, but it was becoming a pain in the butt. However, we were able to get our hands on some of the old pouring buckets that have already been cleaned out and everything. And I'm liking it too because these actually have interlocking tops. Check this out. So for all of us that have kids and stuff like that, it's always our biggest worry that the kids are going to get hooked with the fishing gear. So with this one, okay. So now that I can get it on, to unlock it, you actually have to depress this to get it to come off. So in doing this means I don't have to worry about my kids getting into my hook area. Now granted, the barbs of the hooks are out here, but I would rather have, well, that's the other thing that I'm looking into, because it doesn't have that outer lip like those do, which kind of pins the hook into the bucket. So I'm looking at a few things. One is we're using 18-inch drops, which means the weight of the mono that's inside will keep the hooks locked into place down here. But what I'm looking at doing is cutting the slit in between this lip and this lip, so that way when the hook does come in, it'll still be blocked by this lip right here. And I mean, you would literally have to pull the hook up and out to get your finger behind it with the weight of everything holding it in place. The only thing is to test that theory. So that's our next job, cutting the bucket. All right, this was another tool too. This drill was sent to us so we can test out when we're doing these buckets. That was the thing that we kept doing, was burning out the drills by drilling the way we were drilling. So this is going to be our test to see if it will handle what we need to get done. So, and the beautiful thing about it, it's got two different speeds. You got your high and your low, and you know, see what it can do. I'm ready. So now the deal is, the hooks will come through about a good ½ inch. So I want to try and stop my notch up here so that way it hits right in here and stays there and it doesn't come over. Because even right now that I was grabbing the other bucket, my hand slid up and my fingertips were catching the tips of those. So that would be the worst case to get that into your nail. So I'm really liking that it'll have that lip to where you can grab it and not be grabbing those hooks. So again, like I said, when we're doing this type gear, it's always a learning curve. And so let's go and knock this thing out and see how it does. I'm liking the possibility of what it's going to do. But now too, I'm looking, it doesn't have this lip all the way around. It's got these sections right here, and that's where the locking mechanisms catch for the top. So I definitely don't want to put the hooks there because it's still, well, it might still work, but I may have to come up a little bit higher, to catch the backside over here. So let's see how much of a gap I need to cut into the bucket to allow the hook to go in place first. So I need a hook. So this is the hook we're using, and with this one, I still need, like I said, I want it to sit on the inside to where only this portion will come out. So I need to mark that as being my low point. Let's see, that'll be my low point. And I need to go up from there. Now, that's telling me I have to cut at least on this side of that lip right there, at least that far. All right, I'm gonna show you what I'm looking at real quick just so y'all can see it. So I want my hook to sit like this. So by cutting that notch right there, I need to be able to have that much gap for it to come in and sit down like that. But I'll have to start cutting from up on this side up here and work my way down. So let's see if it'll work. If it does it on one bucket or one hook and sits in there just fine, then I'll continue on. If not, then it's back to the drawing board on our buckets. So Well, that was one of the things too. With the drills, we have the problem of it cutting at a diagonal entry and stuff like that. So that's what this one kind of did until I put a little more pressure on it, and then it went straight. And that's what I'll show you what I mean. See, there's the cut right there. If you can see it, let me just clean it up a little now. Okay. All right. So you can see where I started, and it caught me kind of off guard a little bit. So I put a little more pressure on it, and I was able to get it down. But let's see if the hook will go into play the way I need it to. All right. So I needed to go in that slot and slip down. Look at that, guys. We are in business. So there you go. Now I'm protected here from the lip there, but I also have enough to where it, you know, will not. Well, the hook will have pressure from the line on the inside. So there we go. Yep. Well, at least now I know I don't have to go so high, but it still didn't really matter. So, all right, let's cut the rest. Let's keep going. I like this. I like the way it's going. Let me go ahead and do this. Let me mark where I need to cut before I go forward, just so I don't forget what I'm doing, because I'm so used to building these buckets a certain way. So. And I'm doing that at an angle just until I can find out where I need to, or how much pressure I can put on it. Because that's the other thing too. I'm concerned with the drill bit, by me putting that much pressure on it, if it'll hurt it. So let me take it in some more. Maybe that'll help too. All right. Tell you what, with that drill, it's definitely making it a lot easier for me to do what I need to do, because to get them that close on the other buckets, I was real scared. It kept coming crazy at an angle, which means now I can put a lot more hooks in that smaller area that I have to work with, you know? So I've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I should be able to do 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hooks right there. That'll be 22, and then 33. But 30 hooks is all I need. So even if I wanted to, I can split it up into 4 sections to get my, you know, 30 hooks in there. But, you know, we'll keep rolling with it. Put my 30 slots and we'll go from there. See what it looks like. So I'm liking it. this time, I'm gonna change it up a little bit for the notch. What I'm gonna do is, instead of cutting the notch up on top, I'm actually gonna cut a hole big enough so I can just slip it in and lock it into place. So we'll do it right here. And that way it'll lock in and sit right next to it and we'll be good to go. So maybe I can do it over here on its own, do the starting point and end point on the last one. Yeah, I like that idea better. Okay, so let's do this. Need it big enough so this can slip through and still lock into place. So it's got to be that big. So it'll be that one. Ooh, I like that. Look at that. That looks really nice. So now, let's clean it out one more time. White. So now you can see how the lines are hanging straight down, which is awesome too, because it'll keep them from pigtailing, and that way when they get deployed, they'll deploy nice and easy. So I'm really liking this setup a lot more than what I originally had planned for it with these smaller buckets. Okay, one thing that I did realize, when I do cut these inside lips real short, it doesn't allow me to get the hook in there, so I gotta fix that real quick. And there you go. Yep, that's what it is too. Like I said, there's always a learning curve to making all new tackle. And there is 30 hooks right there. All right, so now that I've come down to the end, I need to figure out what I want to do with this. How about that? Nice, simple, keeps everything in there. And then once we put the top on it, everything's all locked into place. So yeah, look at that. That is nice. I really like that. So yep, I guess this will be our new cell line hook bucket setup for you. And yeah, that is really, really clean. So now we can even keep the floats in there as well. Yep, good to go. Awesome, like it.